All right, well, here goes nothing again. How are you? Marc Muller from Dead On Live. Another, what is it, the fifth installment. When's it going to end? That's another subject. The fifth installment of Dissecting the Dead. Ick. Bring out your dead. Dissecting the Dead, Dead on Lifestyle of doing note for note of the classic records, the records I grew up with, my favorite, era. We're going to focus today on which I think if I had to pick a favorite song, it would be, gosh, there's a big catalog of Dead songs, every flavor you can imagine. But my favorite that really embodies, I mean, it's like a community effort. Everyone is shining, doing their best, sounding their best. It just seems like the happiest of times for the band, and it sounds it. Jack Straw, right? It's a Weir song, but Jerry's all in it. Phil is doing his thing. Keith is playing the coolest stuff. It's just really everybody is rising to the occasion for Jack Straw from Wichita. It was such a heavy song for me back then, and I in my high school yearbook picture, my saying was, "We used to play for silver, now we play for life." And that young musician, and I knew the road I would be on, and I knew that was it. We starting a long, strange trip applies, doesn't it? Getting fucking stranger by the day. And, I don't even want to go there. I'm doing this like therapeutically for me personally, and I hope you're enjoying it. So let's not even talk about all the other stuff. And just hope this ends. But anyway, Jack Straw, first thing I'm going to, and again, this is the Europe 72 version. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Autographed, all of them. Yeah. First thing is the tuning, okay? This again was pitch shifted. The tape was sped up. So when you play an E on a 440, a regular tuned guitar, you're not going to be in tune. You're going to be like, damn, man, what's going on here? First, let's get everybody happy and smiling and feeling good right away. All you got to do is play the album, right? Just the album. And I'm going to turn off the pitch correction that I had to apply. Again, I had to apply pitch correction so my guitar, the E chord, is going to be in tune because this is their E chord. Oh. Smiling yet? Of course you are. We can share the women, we can share the wine. Okay, this is the real E. It's flatter. I'm going to play together, and you're going to hear how badly out of tune they are. Yeah, whatever. When they were putting the record together, they just wanted to goose it up a little bit. Okay, so let's move on. I just found the closest pitch, so now I can work. Okay, let's talk about tempo. You cannot play this to a click track. This is like a classical piece of music with movements, sections that are, I had a drummer come by, and I'm like, okay, work on Jack Straw. All right, he came by with his little machine, and he had the click track, and he went, okay, and it started cool. Everything was cool until we got like to the next section, the next movement of the song, and he was right on his click. He knew what he was doing, and I'm like, wait, what's wrong here? Wait, something feels wrong here. And I said, did you check out the tempo changes that go on? He's like, oh no, man, I just, it wasn't Dave Anthony, by the way, number one wonderful drummer for Dead On Live now. The man is deep into this shit. He sounds great. But it was just a friend who came by to jam with us. But anyway, and by the way, jamming, there is no rules. This is just for this crazy thing that we do here, this note for note nonsense. But anyway, so to point out the differences, it's really like 3 sections. If it was a classical score, you'd have accelerando written. If you could have a conductor conducting this just to get to the tempos the right way. The beginning is, what is it, like 130 something, 133? Yeah, we can share the women, we can share the wine. It's like 133 or so. But then when they go to, gotta go to Tulsa, first train we can ride, goes up to 144. And then when they go to the jam, we just play for they go up to 150. So this song goes from 130, 133-ish to 140, 144-ish, all the way up to 150 where they're just cooking for gas. But you would never know that if you didn't point it out. But if you're tuned into the record and used to playing, as we practice our parts to this record, you feel when something is, wait a minute, shouldn't we be like a little faster now? Shouldn't it really slow down? Let me show you, let me turn up the click track. I've probably muted the click track. Come on, man. I had this all planned out. Listen to the click, the dive in the tempo. And it's wonderful. I don't know if they did it on purpose or what. I don't know. The ludes kicked in.
Leaving Texas for the July.
Next tempo. It's just too cool. All right. So anyway, I'm going to do a live stream of Dead On Live. We were supposed to play Lavoie Theater next Saturday, so I'm just going to do what I did last Friday when we were supposed to play at Tarrytown and do a little thing. And I'm going to do Jack Straw, but the last show I did everything to a click track. I'm going to say screw it for when I do this live thing next week and just try and do this a la natural and see if I can just follow the segments, the movements, and the tempo difference changes. Let's see, I put this down for now, and hang with me. I'm going to blast right through this stuff without being rushed. Okay, bass, I don't know, it's Phil being Phil. It's wonderful parts, and I transcribed it, and my bass player Paul Avrutin does a wonderful job of just playing along. So what you're going to hear here is my MIDI bass instrument playing what Phil played, and then it gets generated on sheet music. But just for the fun of it, without going too much, I'll play the record. And he just plays a bad note. I'm picking on Phil. No offense, Phil. There's no bad notes, even if it's a half step away, a F instead of an E.
There ain't no winner in the game. He don't go.
Right there.
There ain't no winner in the game. He don't go.
He probably did it on purpose, too. Jerry looked at him. All stink-eyed. But here's my bass part superimposed, so you'll hear both.
There ain't no winner in the game. He don't go home with nothing more.
cruising right along here, and that brings us to, and you know what I'm going to do at the end is play the virtual band and play the Jerry part. This is a Bob's song, and I'm usually relegated to doing the Jerry stuff, but you know, I dig deep into the Bob stuff too, so I'm going to do a fake Bob. And to sing, I did a little pre-production, I sang Bob's part so I could play Jerry and sing Jerry, but for Bob vocal, all you have to do is put a little Elvis in it. Texas, burning love. Bob was into all that country and rock and roll stuff. Keith is just chugging along here. Keith is doing. Let's play that little. He's just playing rhythmically, and it's a counter rhythm to Bob Weir's rhythm, which we'll get into. But let's put your ears on the piano. I'm going to solo the piano side. The piano side was over on the right side, mainly. So right now, when we're going to hear it, we're going to hear just the right side, straight up the middle, where the piano sticks out like crazy. That's how it's easier to figure out by ear.
We used to play it for silver, now we play it for life. And once for sport, and once for blood, but more than that.
I love those little skips. Da 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 da. So here, you know, just cutting through. Here's my superimposed piano, and again, I only did like right hand stuff. I didn't go nuts and get all the left hand stuff. But here's my little part on top.
We used to play it for silver, now we play it for life. And once for sport, and once for blood, but more than that. And everything is shaking, and the time must fall.
All right, let's move on to the fun stuff, the Bob side. So again, Bob is featured on the left side mainly. So again, you know what I'm talking about. I mute the right, center the left, and just listen to that. And I played along on top of it. But so here's put your ears, if you will, to the Bob side alone. Yeah, Jerry's in there too. Jerry's in the center.
We can share the women, we can share the wine. We can share what we got of yours, cause we got shared all of that. Keep on rolling, just a mile to go.
If anyone is a slave to parts throughout history, from like the early stuff to last week when he played it, Bob has structured parts more than anyone else in the band. Jerry did follow the same kind of structure in his little time segment. Like if you hear a 72 from June and listen to 72 from October, he's still playing within the same little themes. And you know, as time goes on and he's experimenting more, then he goes over. But you know, he didn't do note for note, you know, verbatim parts. But he did. You'll find through the ages and through the different eras, he did follow themes over certain courses of time. But Bob, he was structured. So I use my Les Paul for. I don't have a 335. And just some fun facts about Bob's part is, of course, it starts with the coolest E chord you ever want. 3 notes. Right? Isn't that? So out of this little 3-note thing, he plays this like this 7th chord, E7th. It's all based on that. Okay, so every time he hits an A chord, I don't know why. Maybe it was a thing he was practicing at the time. Every time he hits an A chord, he does a sus kick to it. So here's a verse. We can share the women, we can share the wine. A chord. That little thing. We can share what we got of yours, 'cause we can share all of mine. Here he goes again. The whole song. Okay? That's a basic part throughout every verse. But we're all working too hard for the bridge section for Bob. Bob does a 3-note voicing, and he goes all cha-cha, all Latin, samba, or whatever. Let's listen to what he does in, this is the Bob side, maybe you'll hear him. 3 notes.
I just jumped the watchman right outside the fence. Took his rings for bucks and change. Ain't there heaven sent?
Same 3 notes. Whole 3. So let me superimpose my part. It'll be a little bit at a time, you know, the way I figured stuff. Anyway, see if you can hear my part.
I just jumped the watchman right outside the fence. Took his rings for bucks and change. Ain't there heaven sent? Where's my
And this next part, the next tempo change, he does the A chord again with a kick. Here's his opening E chord. And he does this. And that's his little bits for this whole song. He's consistent through the whole thing. It's pretty cool, you know. That bridge is just 3 notes. F sharp. Let's move on to Jerry. Jerry is just gold from note 1 to the last fucking note of the song. Again, everyone is shining on this. And man, I just loved the labor that went into figuring this out. I didn't mind at all. Certainly not drudgery. Take out the blue Strat, the cheap Highway 1 stock, nothing but cheap Highway stock. So like I said, I sang the Bob. We used to play for silver, now I play for a lie. I'm overacting, but you get the point. And then I tried to squeak out the Phil. Phil sang the shit. You know that they redid all these vocals, right? They set up, after the tour, they came back to California, set up their stage like it was set up in California, and had the tape play their instruments behind their vocal mics. And they sat there and got, the vocals that they wanted. If you listen closely, you can hear the bleed of the old vocals. All right, so all this stuff was, all the vocals were redone. Why not? They're making an album. They're allowed. I don't mind. I should have practiced this, but I'm just going to play it. And I don't have the drums. When I do this next week live stream, I'm going to record the drums over it. And looser, I'm not going to try and be note for note the drums is torture, impossible. Forget it. Here we go. Let me just make sure everything's up and ready, and here we'll go. Okay, I'm excited. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. Jerry joins in. We can share the women, we can share the wine. We can share what we got of yours, 'cause we done shared all of mine. Keep on rolling, just a mile to go. Keep on rolling, my old buddy, you're moving much too slow. Tempo change. I just jumped the wash right outside the fence. Took its springs for bucks and change. Ain't that heaven sent? Hurts my ears to listen to shit. Hurts my eyes to see. Cut down reading cold shit. Might as well be. We used to play for silver, now we're playing for life. Once for sport, once for fun, on a night. Now the die is shaking, now the time is long. There ain't no winner in the game. Don't go on with all, not with all. Leaving Texas, Port July. Sun so hot, the clouds so low, the eagles fill the sky. Catch a poncho, light and Santa Fe. The great northern out of Cheyenne, from sea to shining sea. Gotta go to Tulsa, or a train we can ride. Gotta sail on one old stone, one small one of pride. Ain't no place in begging that shit, keeping me from the sun. Ain't no bed to keep us rest, you keep us on the run. It's so much fun. All right. Good luck, world. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoy, and talk to you soon.